I'd like to start with a little Rams talk with the whole situation going on because, and we'll get to baseball playoffs and Mizzou and NFL football and all that. But don't you think that from a national media perspective, this story is now, it's growing and growing and growing, and you're having more national media outlets pick it up. And it seems like, okay, we knew about this for 4, 5, 6 years here. We were talking about it. We always threw out there the thought of, okay, maybe the end result could be an expansion franchise. That was always looked upon as a pipe dream. It now seems like more and more folks, nationally credible journalists, and you don't need the national journalists, but it sure helps. It sure helps to get the word out. We've been yelling about this in St. Louis for a long, long time. And I know Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk has been on this, and his article from a couple days ago, the headline is, Could St. Louis Emerge from Rams Relocation Case with an Expansion Team? The first line is, the folks in St. Louis have a tiger by the tail, and they're pulling hard. And basically the whole article is about the fact that, look, if the NFL is going to have to cut a big check and they don't want to have all of their information out there in a trial, which could take place in January, and I'd like to ask all you guys this, but even though it felt like a pipe dream, I always thought all along that the best compromise was an expansion team for both sides. This 100%. Is for both sides. The NFL could even come out, I don't want to say looking good, but you can right or wrong. You can have a new ownership group. By the way, the NFL for a long time, there's been discussion about wanting the first African-American owner, majority owner of a team. That could potentially be on the table. You could right or wrong in terms of you took St. Louis's team. We know you did us dirty, but guess what? We're willing to forgive in a certain way if you give us another team and you make it right financially. But also, at the end of the day, I understand. I've done different Twitter polls, and I've read the different ones about you throw it out there to your audience. You say, do you want an expansion team? I feel like it's always about 70 to 80% says, yes, we still want a team. There's always about 20 to 30 that's like, screw the NFL. But that's the minority. At the crux of this, at the crux of why St. Louis is mad, why we're mad as football fans, is because they took our team. Getting a new team, doesn't that, for the most part, make it right?
To me, and Brooke, I'm going to ask you this question too. 100% yes. What are we doing with the money? A trolley track again in Del Mar? Come on. We're gonna take this money and give it to the politicians that we trust so much in St. Louis. They've done so good. We trust you. No. We don't like any of you. Now, this is me talking. I want a football team. I heard Chris Kerber today talk, and I love Kirby. He's like, I can't, no way in how. This is not enough. We need that. I go, what? I go, really? You're mad? Look, I'm going to give a little Bill Burr quote. Roger Goodell could take a puppy, my puppy, and, no, not mine, but a puppy, and boot it off a bridge. And I'll be like, I'm still watching the NFL. It's entertaining. It's fun. Betting, all that stuff. I want an NFL team here. I want them to build it out in Maryland Heights. We talked about that, too. I wanted it downtown. And I'm like, no, I want an NFL team out in Maryland Heights so we could tailgate and have fun. I don't give a damn about that money. Everything else is just whatever. You can give money to the politician. Bring an NFL team back here, and let's support it. And if anybody says, I'm not going to support it because I'm mad at the NFL, then I don't know what the hell to do with you. What do you think, Brooke? Unless you agree with that, too, because you're the exception. Go ahead.
No, I'm the exception. Oh, thank you, Cam. No, I'm, of course, a huge NFL fan, Titans fan, so it's a little weird being here in St. Louis. I've mentioned that before because the St. Louis Rams absolutely destroyed our Super Bowl dreams. But still, I love NFL so much. I know what it can do for the city. I know what it can do for the area. And I think that, you know, in general, I understand why people are scorned here for obvious reasons because of what Stan Kroenke did. But I think if you bring in a good, trusted ownership group, and I even saw, you know, reports that Isaac Bruce is on board with trying to help bring a team here. You have somebody that people trust really behind bringing in a team here and showing, okay, look, yes, the NFL burned you before, but we're not going to let this happen again. We are going to really make sure that this is going to be successful, I think the fans will rally around it. You had it with the XFL.
Oh my God.
I mean, the XFL is not even close to the NFL, even though there's some guys playing in the NFL now from the XFL. I mean, you had fans rally around the XFL, the highest attendance out of any team in that league.
Yep.
And you can't tell me that the NFL doesn't look at that as a good thing to have a supportive fan base. I think that people would embrace it, and it will only help the city in so many ways.
Right. And I'm looking it up
100%.
right now. St. Louis has always been TV market like 21. I'm not sure if it's still 21.
I think we're 23 or
Oh,
so.
okay.
We dropped
Lord.
like a little bit. But Nashville, okay, you look at Nashville, for example, and I always bring that up, but that's where I'm from. I mean, Nashville
You're
has
from
grown.
Nashville?
Yeah, I'm from Nashville. It's grown exponentially, one, because they've invested so much in their sports and the fans rally around it. I mean, it's like a blast when you go out there, especially when you have football going on, hockey,
Oh, man.
all that stuff. And they're looking at bringing a baseball team there possibly.
And I bring that up because when you're in the TV biz, you always want to go to a quote-unquote bigger market. So I always knew that St. Louis was 21. Well, now it's 23, but still. That's right up there. But my point is, go through the markets.
No.
Look, go through the markets. Okay, obviously, New York, L.A., Chicago, Philly, Dallas-Fort Worth, San Francisco, Atlanta, Houston, Washington, D.C., Boston, Phoenix, Seattle, Tampa, Minneapolis, Detroit, Denver. I'm doing this for a reason, I promise.
I know.
Orlando. Okay, you can make the case. And Orlando has, an NBA team. But Miami, Cleveland, Sacramento, Portland, okay?
Sacramento.
Charlotte, St. Louis is 23. My point is, and then go down.
Charlotte.
How many big cities don't have an NFL team that you would want? Because if you're the NFL, you want it to succeed. You do need a big market. Okay, I threw out Orlando. I threw out Portland. But if you're going to expand, St. Louis is market 23. Everybody knows the NFL can succeed here. By the way, this is not a homer take. I truly believe per capita, St. Louis has the best sports fans in America.
I agree with you.
And I say that.
I do.
Again, I'm not Mr. Homer. I didn't grow up here. This is from watching for 14 years that if you build it, they will come. If you give them a good product, they will set records.
100.
Right? Cardinals every year are right up there, 3 million strong. The Blues, when they're rocking and rolling,
They're
passionate fan base.
huge fan base.
Why did nobody come to Rams games from that one stretch where they were 15-65? Because they were the worst football team in the history of the NFL at the time for a 5-year span. They were terrible, and let's be real about it. It wasn't a great building.
No, it
was
wasn't.
not a great venue. How about every time golf comes here? Brooke, you mentioned Battlehawks.
Yep.
I would never in my life have predicted 30,000 people going
Thank
crazy
you.
for the Battlehawks.
And having a blast.
Having a hell of a time.
Partying.
That's what it was. It was fun. It was screw you to the football world. We
Good old
do
boys.
love our football. I was at that second game. It was awesome. The next home game was supposed to be 45, whatever thousand people. They were going to have the top part of it open up. Every time golf comes here, that's all people talk about. The PGA.
Tiger Woods brought it up.
The other day was
Never heard of him.
the Ascension a month or so ago, setting records. If it's good sports, St. Louis will come out per capita, in my opinion, better than anybody else. Because another thing is, it's part of our identity as sports. We don't have the ocean. We don't have the mountains. Okay,
There it
we
is.
have a beautiful couple rivers. Okay, I know it's.
Well, I got like a disease in Merrimack one
Yes,
time where I
every
was like
once in a
puking
while,
for like 8
you
months.
have to go to the pharmacy afterwards. But my point is,
Yeah.
sports, that's what we do. And if we had a football team, you wouldn't even have to be the Patriots if you were just decent.
Dude, people are going to show. Look. I'll tell you this right now. And Brooke, I'm telling you, growing up here, we chirp downtown St. Louis so much, and they need to fix a lot of things. A lot of things. The one thing I've never chirped in this town is the fan base. Like, I make a living after we're playing here. Like, I was whatever. And you make a living because everybody knows you. Go anywhere in this town and talk football with somebody. They're going to be like, oh, yeah, well, the Bengals, you see that Bengal game with Aaron Rodgers and the kickers that screwed everybody? Did you see that? Everybody in this town, honestly, knows everything about sports. They're just sports-watching people. It's the Midwest. They're beer-drinking. They like their Sundays. They love their Blues. They love their Cardinals. They're going to love the MLB sports team. What's it called again? St. Louis City something?
St. Louis
I
City
should know that.
FC.
I should know that. But, Brooke, do you notice that, too, living in St. Louis? Like, we have our problems. But the people here, damn, they know their sports.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was like the whole reason that I came here because, you know, I went from Nashville to Arkansas covering the Razorbacks. And, you know, when this job opportunity came up, I was like, okay, if there's one thing I know about St. Louis when it comes to sports is that they love their sports. And this is a fan base that you can't just kind of BS with them about sports.
Yep.
Like they know their stuff. And so it's a fun market as a sportscaster to come to because you know that people are so into just about any sport that it feels like you're actually having more fun with it. You're not having to worry about like fully just explaining the minute details of a sport. You know that they get it and they appreciate it. And they're a fair fan base, as you mentioned.
Yep.
Even if there's down times, they're going to be fair about it, you know?
And this is real talk. I got here in 2008. So when I got this job, I was like, wow, Cardinals baseball, NFL football, Blues hockey, 3 pro sport town, Mizzou not too far away. I'm just telling you right now, if I'd have got this job now, it would not have been as attractive to me because no NFL football. That is just a fact.
I know.
And I love the Cardinals and I love the Blues and I will love St. Louis City SC, even though everybody has their different sports, but it would not have been nearly as attractive because of no NFL football, because the NFL rules everything
in the spotlight
in this country. Here's the other part of it.
Yep.
Why do you hate the NFL? I get it. If you do, we all do. But who you really hate is Stan Kroenke and Kevin Demoff and everything behind the scenes.
And Roger Goodell.
And Roger Goodell, but guess what? He's probably still going to be the commissioner 5 years from now, or 8, if we get an expansion team. But look, even though I understand people like to chirp the DeWitts for, oh, you didn't get this player. At the end of the day, if you're reasonable, you understand what they've done for this city. They win consistently. I know they're not perfect. We all criticize them. They care about St. Louis. They're building Ballpark Village and residential. They're trying to revive the city. Tom Stillman, same deal.
Yep.
NHL, you are not billionaires in the NHL. You are local stewards. I remember being at the press conference. He said that word a million times. We are local
shaking
stewards.
hands with people walking. Come on. We got 100%. The best owners, dude.
By the way, St. Louis City SC, Carolyn Kindle Betts, the most diverse group of ownership and execs. They're doing everything right.
Yes.
They haven't even played a game yet. But everybody has tremendous respect for those owners. So, of course, we don't have for Stan Kroenke. But if and when we get a team and it's the right owner, I promise you, people will, again, are you going to chirp him? Oh, why'd you draft that offensive tackle?
So what?
Why did you hire that coach? He sucks. That's part of sports. But you would know that this potential owner, if we got a team, if he's from here, if he cares about it, if he's basically just not, you don't have to be the opposite of Stan Kroenke. Just speak maybe once a month. That's all.
I don't give a damn what you do. Spend the money so everybody's happy. Spend the money and have the facility and have the parking. Now, Brooke, what do you think about this? So, like, I do believe that freaking dome is like the biggest turnoff ever. Drive down, Brooke, drive down the dome, okay? And you got to go left and then right and then left and then right. And then, wouldn't it be nice, though? And again, hockey, baseball, soccer in a different way, it's different because you have 41 times that people are coming down to Enterprise Center. They're going to concerts, they're doing all that stuff downtown. How many times you go down for an NFL season? You could count on both hands. So it's not that much revenue, meaning like the businesses probably won't get a big relief from it. But if you could find a way to have a building somewhere where people could just hang out all damn day, like we see all these tailgaters do, and just make a spectacle out of it, people are going to support NFL one way or the other. I think they can here. Now, are the big sponsors in St. Louis, will they do it? Monsanto, AB, Purina, to Worldwide Technology, big boys. Hell yeah, they will, right?
What if some of those people you mentioned are the owner, by the way?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Of course they will. But that's the question that people are asking.
When you ask that, some of those companies you mentioned, the majority owner is probably amongst that group.
I know.
And the minority owners are probably also within that group.
Where would you want that building, Brooke?
Well, okay, this is going to be my little thing. I get what you're saying about Maryland Heights, but I'm big on the revitalizing downtown St. Louis. And I know that Carolyn Kindle Betts, Jim Kavanaugh, who's also with the St. Louis SC ownership group, and I know that, Stillman and the DeWitts and all are very passionate about that, and they have great plans. Now, of course, when it comes to, not to get too political, I know that it has to do with like leaders.
No,
that it has to do with political leaders and stuff like that. But I think that because you if you do put one downtown, say that you can fix up the dome in some way or a different location, it will only help further that case of you bring in more revenue, more resources to help that full revitalization of downtown. And if you have a healthy downtown, the ripple effect, you'll see it in St. Louis County. You'll see it everywhere. It will only help this whole area, not just the city. I think sometimes some people think it will only help downtown. No. If you have an attractive downtown, it will bring in younger people. It will bring in businesses because they want to be where the younger people are. And it's going to be something that is going to be a ripple effect that helps this whole area just grow, even out in Maryland Heights.
And I agree with Brooke. But if it couldn't be downtown, I would be fine with Maryland Heights.
Yeah.
Just so everybody knows.
Yeah.
But I would prefer downtown.
It can't be the dome, though. They got to get rid of it, in my opinion.
What it should be is, and again,
Riverfront.
I do think this is becoming less of a pipe dream and more of a legit possibility. However, I'm big in life on managing expectations. I don't want to get too excited that we're 100% going to have a team. Right now, it feels like it's trending that way, honestly. It really does. But I don't want to get too excited and then be let down. I do think, though, like, if and when you should, when you pay your taxes at the end of the year, you pay your real estate taxes and you look at where it goes, right? Even if you live in the county, okay? Now you're paying for the zoo. You're paying for the aquarium, right? There are things, as Brooke said, that benefit everybody. And if there's more cool stuff you want to visit downtown, you want to have 20 different reasons or 50 different reasons to go downtown. The zoo, the aquarium, every sports
Maggie
team.
O'Brien's.
Okay, but look, you just keep adding things. The city museum.
No doubt, dude.
Add the soccer. You add potentially an NFL.
Then the dome's got to go then.
And
you got to
then,
build new.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, look, if you
Gotta
got
go.
an expansion team,
Gotta go.
the dome is fine to play with, let's say, for the next 5 years or whatever. No, Cam, as the stadium's being built.
Oh, yeah.
That's
totally.
my point.
Yeah.
Or okay, maybe you can expand.
Cam's
I'm
big
just
on
letting
the
you know, I ain't
anti-dome.
making that left, right. I don't know.
And guess what? Now listen,
Pain in the ass.
I'll read the last couple lines of this Pro Football Talk article. Okay, so here it is. If the NFL would promise a new team within, for example, 5 or 10 or 15 years. Now, 15's a long time.
It's a long time, homeboy.
I think you got to show us the team quicker, honestly, to make St. Louis
15
happy.
is.
The league would likely find another place to park a new team, bumping the league from 32 to 34 franchises. That would disrupt the simplicity and symmetry of the current configuration of teams, which we know is 8 divisions of 4 teams.
Yep.
But the league lacked those things for decades before 2002. Again, I'm reading from the Pro Football Talk article from a couple days ago. The spread of gambling will create an urgency to increase inventory. We've all said that. The more games, the more TV packages, the more games you can gamble on. And one way to do that is to increase the number of teams. If it helps the tiger keep its tail from being amputated, there's
Tiger?
all the more reason to consider it. So, yeah. Now, if you got an expansion team, let's say in 7 years, maybe you build the stadium and it's ready to rock and roll by year 1. But in the meantime, even though we all don't love the dome, is it good enough to house a team in the interim before that hopefully beautiful stadium is built either downtown or in Maryland Heights?
I don't want you to renovate that dome and be like, oh, this is where you're going to be. You can't, dude. It's just ridiculous. Doug Vaughn's been talking about this every morning in the morning after with Timmy and the Bice. And you have to do something with that freaking riverfront. People are like, well, what about the flooding? Well, they got a casino down there. You've had bars down there for decades and decades and decades. Build something up. They say you might have to get a lock and dam put in. I thought they already. Do you have to control the flooding? Well, okay, fine. If that's the case, then why is there anything there? But how decrepit it is in that particular area in downtown is so miserable to look at. And if they fix that up and made such a cool thing where they have a bunch of, what do you get there, girl? You get your contact? Did he just drop that off for you? Can we talk about this on the radio real quick?
Well, you already have.
I mean, you've already opened the door, quite literally. Yeah,
you got your contacts or what?
I literally was driving here and I realized that I couldn't see much of anything. And then I realized I didn't put in my contacts. So my lovely fiance drove over here. He's right.
Get him in here.
Oh, God.
Where's he at? Is he hanging out too? Come on in, man. Get in here, dude. You're all right. This is Charlie's show. We can do what we want.
He might not want to be on there, or maybe he does.
He's all right. We've been talking about you all day. Okay. What's up, big dog? How you doing, man? Good to see you. Great radio. You just have a seat, brother.
Well, give him a seat. Give him a seat.
I don't know what
Yeah,
should I put him on the mic? Here.
What is he going to do?
He's going to hang out.
I'm nervous for him right now.
We're going to ask you questions. Hey, neither do I. Welcome to my world. There you go, buddy. See, I thought that was really nice of you to give her some context. You don't want to get an accent
I
on
give
the way
her
home.
context and I give her contact. So
Ooh. Oh.
You're supposed to talk
You're
into
supposed to-
like the mic.
into the microphone.
There it
This
is.
is the first for me.
Oh, this is so cute.
Aww. He's so nervous. He's getting
Oh, I
red.
love it. Charlie, ask him a question. What do we got?
Well, I was going to the text line here, and we have several. Let's see.
Yeah.
314 says, until you address crime and pay and treat cops the way they deserve downtown, can't be fixed. Families won't live there either until the schools are addressed. I do think, though, again, if you have enough jewels downtown, you need different sections of nice places where people want to go. And if you keep having more and more of those, like we have that with Busch Stadium. They're building around that. Ballpark Village, right? Phase 2, Phase 3, the residential. You have that with Enterprise Center. You have the aquarium. Go down to the aquarium and the wheel. And there's all kinds of cool stuff for your family. And you're there. You're up in the wheel. You look down. You see our spot, of course. Maggie O'Brien's right there. But the soccer stadium is being built right there. And again,
did you see a murder when you're up there? I'm just asking.
I did
because
not. I did not. But you're creating more nice pockets of the city.
Yeah.
And then when you have a nice pocket, you build around it. But you need the cornerstones, the jewels, the anchors. And usually the anchors are the sports stadiums.
Well, and also, too, what they're talking about with the crime and stuff as well, not to get political again. I know that we don't want to get too political on the sports radio talk right now. But seriously, though, as of right now, it's hard for businesses to survive downtown. And unless you are a DeWitt where you can build that ballpark village and stuff, what about the other businesses that are around there? And if you bring in more, foot traffic, yes, that will help. But still, some of those other issues do need to be addressed, as that person mentioned.
But it's nice to go to one place, though. Like I know Ballpark Village kind of pushed away a lot of different business. But, if you go down there, geez, it's the first time I've been downtown in, 2 years. I went down there the other day for a meeting. I walk in there, I'm like, I could do a lot of things right now, and I feel safe, and I'm like...
But then, sometimes, when because, look, I work downtown, our building's right there, and I will say, sometimes, certain nights, you leave, and it's like a freaking drag race out there.
Yeah,
there's
true.
people just blowing through red lights. We actually had, a photographer that was seriously hurt because of that, because somebody blew through a red light and hit him. But, it's just things like that. You see some weird things, and I don't know. I mean, that stuff has to be addressed, and I definitely, if you bring an NFL team, will that help? But that's not going to solve all those problems. They're
going to put a bunch of money into infrastructure and cleaning up a lot of things. And if you did that, and again, Doug talks about this all the damn time, that right where the arch, where old boy got robbed, the kid from the, oh God, I got to bring that up because that's so horrible.
And
you clean that damn thing up. I mean, that's what you want.
Listen, I don't mean to laugh. But
that's not funny.
I know, but when every story about downtown is, that one place? Oh yeah, where that guy got robbed. That one place? Oh yeah, that's the drag racing. That one spot? Oh yeah, that's where all the guns were.
Yeah. That's where he got robbed with his family.
We can't keep continuing to have every...
I'm sorry.
No. Because that's a legitimate concern.
I know.
That's a legitimate concern.